fucking go!
Let's fucking go.
What is happening, guys? Back at you with another video. $1 billion. That's a lot of money. And it's a feat that not every movie can be able to hit. But when it comes to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there are actually 11 movies that have hit a billion or surpassed it. And the newest movie joining that club is Deadpool and Wolverine, which now officially surpassed $1 billion and has officially become the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. So, in celebration of that, I decided to go ahead and put this video together of ranking all of the $1 billion Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. So, basically, I'm going to be ranking all 11 movies, starting from the bottom, going to the top. So, let's go ahead and get into it. Coming in at the bottom, and I think this one might be at the bottom for a lot of people, and that's going to be Captain Marvel. Believe it or not, Captain Marvel has hit $1 billion at the global box office when it was in theaters. And I think that has to do a lot with, you know, the whole Infinity War Endgame hype of things. This came out right at the early of 2019, right before Endgame was about to come out, basically to, you know, introduce the character to us and leave off on that after credit scene that we got in Infinity War. So this was snugged right between Infinity War and Endgame, so it had all that hype going into it, introducing a new character that will play a pivotal part in the Endgame movie. So I think that's the reason why it hit $1 billion. When it comes to this movie is at the bottom, or at least towards the bottom of the list when it comes to Marvel Cinematic Universe movies for me. If I'm making a list or ranking the movies, this one does come at the bottom tier for me. This movie overall is just, honestly, this movie is just kind of a slog to get through. I definitely do not go back to rewatch this movie a whole lot. The only time I ever rewatch this movie is if I'm ever like doing a full binge watch of the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, and of course I gotta watch this if I'm doing a full binge. So that's the only time I really go back to rewatch this movie. It's just overall, it's kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of boring at parts, you know. Not that I hate the character of Captain Marvel or anything like that, but it's just this movie in general is a slog to get through. To tell you the truth, like the 1 or 2 viewings that I had watched it at by itself was enough for me, and I don't go back to rewatch it, like I said. So really, that's why some of the reasons that it comes at the bottom for me. We get to another movie that's I consider that might be towards the bottom of the Marvel Cinematic Universe ranking, and that's going to be Iron Man 3. Now, I know a lot of people are up and down on this movie. You know, some people don't like it, some people actually do like it. I'm one of those people that's like, I want to say it's definitely not a favorite. It's not a favorite of mine. There's not a very strong villain in this movie. I just don't really go back to rewatch this movie at all either. You know, just some of the things in there, you know. And it's not even about the Mandarin part, you know. The Mandarin part, I was like, whatever, it happened. You know, that whole Mandarin confusion part, you know, got a lot of people mad. And I was like, whatever. You know, it's just one of the things in this movie. But like I say, this movie, I don't really go back to rewatch it. It's probably my least favorite from the Iron Man trilogy of all the Iron Man movies. And yeah, so Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, this one is kind of a middle tier movie for me when it comes to the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. I don't think it's a bad movie. It's definitely not a bad movie, but when it comes down to it, this one is probably my least favorite in the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. I think there's a great villain. Mysterio is a great villain. Jake Gyllenhaal plays great as Mysterio. I would probably say maybe one of the main concerns with this movie is that, you know, I'm coming to the realization that maybe it's because them going to Europe and going on this trip that just feels out of the ordinary for a Spider-Man movie, that they would just go on this big old trip. Really, I don't know. It just feels a little weird to not be able to see Spider-Man in New York, or at least Spider-Man in the area of the vicinity of New York or something. You know, I'm just so used to that, seeing that. I guess maybe that's really one of the reasons why I don't really typically watch this movie a whole lot or like it as much as some of the other Spider-Man movies. I don't think it's a bad movie by any means. It's still a good movie, but for me, it's a middle tier type of movie for the Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. And like I was saying, one of my least favorite Spider-Man movies. Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, I know a lot of people are against this movie, and I'm not going to say I agree or understand why, but to be honest, I think this is a good Avengers movie still. This is definitely a good Avengers movie. Now, it's when it comes to Marvel Cinematic Universe, it'll probably still be like sort of that middle tier type of movie for me, but it's still a good one. I have a lot of fun with this movie. When it comes to the Avengers movies, it might be maybe at the bottom for Avengers movies, but still, it's still a pretty good Marvel Cinematic Universe movie that I had a lot of fun watching. I think it's still a great movie. I could put this on, pop this in, watch it, have fun with it. Still like this movie after all these many years. So I think this is still a pretty good movie. Black Panther. Black Panther is one of my favorites in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and one of my favorite characters. So I really was excited for this movie. You know, I really waited for a live action version of Black Panther. Nearly 16 years, I kind of waited for a version of Black Panther to come on screen, and we finally got him in Captain America: Civil War, and then he finally gets his own solo movie with this movie, and it hits $1 billion. So that's pretty awesome. I gotta say, I did really enjoy the movie. A lot of things going on here. You got a great villain with Killmonger going on here. Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace to him, put on a great performance as Black Panther. Great cast going all around going on in this movie. So a lot of great things with this movie. I really did enjoy it. The Avengers. The first Avengers movie did break $1 billion, and this movie is just a shot of adrenaline when it comes to Marvel Cinematic Universe. I love this movie. I remember watching it, going to see it in theaters and all that, and it was just a dream come true. You know, you're growing up as a comic book and Marvel fan, being able to see this movie finally just come on screen, you know, and just being able to see these group of characters come together and form this team. It was like a dream come true, and be able to watch this movie and see it on the big screen, and be able to just see those characters come together. Like, you know, as a Marvel comic book fan, growing up, reading the comics, liking these characters, and just finally seeing a live action version of that on a big screen was awesome at the time. Definitely amazing. Captain America: Civil War. This one is definitely my favorite Captain America movie. I really enjoy this one. Basically almost like an Avengers 2.5 movie, as people dub it. I definitely did like a lot of elements in this one. We get our, you know, basically our introduction to Spider-Man finally coming to the Marvel Cinematic Universe in this movie. Introduction to the character of Black Panther. This whole big old battle between the Avengers themselves as they're in a disagreement over how they should proceed forward with the team. So a lot of great conflict going on in this movie, and it just makes for an exciting story and an exciting movie to check out, and just being able to see these characters just, you know, have an all-out civil war, as to say. When it comes to that airport fight scene, that's some of the most iconic scenes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The way that they battle each other, the way that you just basically by the end of this movie had the Avengers basically separate and go their own ways. The way that Baron Zemo, this villain who had no superpowers or anything like that, literally just was able to break up the Avengers, and just by, you know, just by pure intellect and planning and setting things up, and be able to just break up the Avengers in a way. So I really love this movie. It's an awesome and amazing movie. Spider-Man: No Way Home. Now this was definitely a fan event type of film, to where we're able to get all three live action Spider-Man on screen. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland all on the big screen, all together. This was just an exciting and amazing, awesome event of a film, a love letter to Spider-Man fans. The way that they're able to pull this movie off and be able to bring all three of those characters, you know, from three different franchises, basically, be able to bring them all together on screen, be able to have a compelling and great story going on. I do see some of the flaws that people do talk about this movie, but I gotta say, I can still pop this movie into this day and still have fun with this, still get a kick out of it, get that nostalgia feel out of it, and everything like that. Still an amazing, awesome experience of a movie. We get to the newest movie, and that's going to be Deadpool and Wolverine. Deadpool and Wolverine was such a awesome event of a film. This was definitely another one that was one of those event type films. Finally get Deadpool and Wolverine coming on this big screen together in their own movie, basically teaming up. The way that they were able to show us these cameos of past Marvel characters. Really, this was like a love letter to like Marvel fans of the earlier 2000s eras movies. It's the way that they're able to bring back some characters, the way they're able to give us different things in this movie, that it was just amazing and awesome to see on screen. I laughed my ass off throughout a majority of the movie. It was just so funny, especially when it comes to that one opening scene. Iconic already, that opening scene is. Man, this was just an amazing experience. Like, I've already seen it more than once in theaters already. This was just an amazing, awesome experience in theaters to check this out on a big screen, and it's just become one of my favorites. Avengers: Infinity War. This was a culmination film, one of the culmination films besides Endgame. So where it's like we get this amazing movie over a span of 10 years that they were able to do all these movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to be able to culminate to this first part of the whole culmination of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. 10 years to be able to tell this story and have these movies and all of that to just lead to this part of this movie. This basically like a first part of this, a whole culmination of ending of a movie of this Infinity Saga. And be able to have this movie was an amazing experience seen in theaters. It was an awesome experience. The way that they were able to tell and craft this story, amazing story they were able to craft together. The way that they're able to bring all of these characters across all these movies, bring them in together to one movie and be able to tell a compelling story and be able to blend all these characters and be able to have, all these characters have their own time to shine. And it's just an amazing experience to be able to see that movie in theaters when it first came out. Like, I still remember it to this day that going to theaters, watching this movie is just an amazing and awesome experience. And just the way that this movie ends to where it just basically our heroes lost. The heroes lost, the villain won, basically, in a way. And the way that they were able to do that, and it was like it really hasn't been like anything else that hasn't really been done like this before. So it was just an amazing experience of a movie that they were able to pull off and be able to give us, and just this storytelling from 10 years of movies just going into this movie and the way having it play out, great compelling story, the way they ended, with us having to wait an entire year to see how it will all go down, how it will all end in the next movie. Just an amazing experience, amazing movie. And getting into the top spot, Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame is one of those movies that's just, it's a movie. It's definitely something. It's something. Another amazing, awesome movie experience that they gave us with Infinity War the year before, and then finally waiting through that whole year to be able to get to Avengers Endgame and finally see how it ends. Have this culmination of the whole Infinity Saga that we had for the past 10 years. To, completing the story, being able to have all these movies, just be able to lean, into this movie and be able to finish it off, cap it off with everything that they did in this movie. It was amazing. It's awesome. I love this movie. I could go back to rewatch this movie at any time. And just that last battle scene that we get, to where we finally get almost every character that we ever had in the Marvel Cinematic Universe come together to fight Thanos, bring his armies down. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was like any other experience that I've ever had in the movie theater, to where you had the crowd reactions. This was the type of movie to where you wanted to be with a big crowd and be able to have those interactions, have those reactions going on while the movie was going on. There were so many great, amazing things that happened in this movie to where you wanted to experience that crowd reaction, and it was so warranted to be able to have big crowds and have them be able to be loud, have those loud reactions, and you be able to feel it with them and have your own reactions to that. So this movie was just like an event type film, to where it was awesome and amazing, and the way that they're able to just tell another compelling story and a culmination to everything that came before it. And it was just an amazing experience, and unlike probably we will not ever get anything else like this ever again. Time will tell if we're able to do that again, maybe with the next Avengers movies that are coming out. But this was definitely a once in a lifetime, almost, basically, kind of thing that was going on. To where the way that they put this movie together was amazing, awesome experience in theaters. I saw it more than once, and just everything they were able to pull off with this movie and with Infinity War, and just everything like that. It was just an amazing experience. I can't say enough about it. It was just amazing experience. But that is going to do it for the ranking of all the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies that hit $1 billion. Let me know down in the comments below, how would you rank these movies out? That's going to do it for this video. Hopefully y'all all enjoyed it. Remember to subscribe and turn notifications on so you know when I post another video. Hope you have an awesome day. I'll see you on the next one.